Welcome back to EverWise Older Women. If you're dealing with a larger tummy, a lower belly pooch, or you have an apple shape or shorter legs, chances are you've had those discouraging fitting room moments. You grab pants that looked perfect online or on the hanger only to try them on and feel worse. Suddenly, your midsection looks more noticeable, your proportions feel off, and you start second-guessing everything. Did I grab the wrong size? Is this cut wrong for me? Should I just go back to stretchy pants that hide everything but don't make me feel like myself? You've probably stayed up late reading glowing reviews, wondering why they don't apply to you. Maybe you've even bought multiple sizes of the same pair, hoping one would work, and now they're just sitting in your closet, unworn. It's tempting to give up and stick with the same loose tops and comfy bottoms. But deep down, you want something that makes you feel confident and put together. Here's what you need to know. It's not about hiding your body, it's about knowing which pant styles are working against your shape and why. Most women have no idea that certain design details can make your tummy look larger, your legs look shorter, and your whole silhouette feel unbalanced. Fashion rules like high-waisted is best, or skinny jeans are slimming, aren't always true for apple shapes or women with shorter frames, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. I'll show you the pant styles to avoid, explain why they're not doing you any favors, and help you find ones that truly flatter your shape. If you felt like pants were your enemy, that changes today. Let's get into it. And before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our growing community here at EverWise Older Women, where we celebrate confidence, style, and feeling fabulous at every stage of life. Now, let's start with something that might surprise you. Not all high-waisted pants are created equal, and some can actually make your tummy look larger. I know this goes against everything you've probably been told, but hear me out. When you have a fuller midsection, especially with that lower belly pooch, certain high-waisted styles can create what I call the muffin top effect, even when the pants technically fit. The first style to avoid is high-waisted pants with extremely narrow waistbands. You know the ones I'm talking about. They have maybe a 1 or 2 inch waistband that sits high on your torso, promising to smooth everything out. But here's what actually happens. That narrow band creates a sharp horizontal line right across your midsection, essentially drawing a line that says, look here, this is where my tummy is widest. Instead of smoothing, it creates a clear demarcation between what's above the waistband and what's below it. Picture two women with similar body types trying on high-waisted jeans. The first woman is wearing jeans with a narrow, tight waistband that hits right at her natural waist. The waistband is rigid and firm, designed to hold everything in place. But because it's so narrow, it creates pressure points that cause the flesh to push up above the waistband and bulge out below it. The second woman is wearing high-waisted pants with a wider, more flexible waistband that distributes pressure more evenly. Her silhouette looks smoother and more balanced because there aren't those harsh lines cutting across her midsection. The narrow waistband style is particularly problematic if you carry weight in your lower belly because it forces all that soft tissue to either push up or push down, creating bulges where you definitely don't want them. And if you're shorter in the torso, which many apple-shaped women are, that narrow waistband can make your midsection look even more compressed and wide. Another style that seems like it should work but often doesn't is the ultra-high-rise trend. I'm talking about pants that come up almost to your ribcage. While these can look fantastic on women with longer torsos and flatter tummies, they can be disastrous for apple shapes. When you have a fuller midsection, these ultra-high pants can actually shorten your torso visually and make your tummy the main focal point of your entire outfit. Think about it this way. If you already have a shorter torso and you add pants that come up extremely high, you're essentially eliminating what little torso length you have. This creates a proportion imbalance where your legs might look longer, but your entire upper body looks compressed and wide. The ultra-high waistband also tends to push against your stomach, creating that dreaded rollover effect where soft tissue spills over the top of the waistband. Now let's talk about a style that's been trending for years, but can be particularly unflattering for our body type. Super skinny, skin-tight pants. I know. We've been told for decades that tight equals slimming, but this is one of the biggest fashion myths that refuses to die. When you have a larger tummy, and especially a lower belly pooch, super tight pants can actually make you look larger, not smaller. Here's why this happens. When fabric is stretched tight across curves, it creates what designers call tension lines. These are subtle creases and pulls in the fabric that draw the eye directly to the areas where the fabric is being stretched the most. If you're carrying weight in your lower belly, those tension lines will radiate out from that area, like arrows pointing to exactly what you're trying to minimize. Super skinny pants also tend to have very little ease through the hip and thigh area. Ease is the extra room built into clothing that allows for comfortable movement and a flattering drape. Without adequate ease, the pants cling to every curve and bump, creating an unflattering silhouette that can make you look larger than you actually are. But here's where it gets even more complicated for apple-shaped women. When you wear pants that are too tight through the hips and thighs, but you have a fuller waist, it creates an optical illusion that makes your midsection look even wider by comparison. Your legs look like they're squeezed into sausage casings while your waist area looks disproportionately large. This is the opposite of the balanced, proportional look we're trying to achieve. Let me share something that might shock you. Low-rise pants aren't automatically off-limits for apple shapes, but there's a specific type of low-rise that you absolutely must avoid. I'm talking about low-rise pants with tight waistbands that sit right at the widest part of your lower belly. This creates what I call the belly where your tummy literally sits on top of the waistband, like it's resting on a shelf. When the waistband of your pants sits below your natural waist, but above your hip bones, it often lands right at the fullest part of your lower belly. If that waistband is tight and inflexible, it pushes your belly up and out, creating a very unflattering bulge that's impossible to hide, even with the longest tops. The belly shelf effect is particularly pronounced when you sit down, as the waistband digs in and pushes your stomach out even further. This is different from a properly fitted low-rise pant that sits on your hip bones and allows your natural waist to drape over it softly. But for most apple-shaped women, finding that sweet spot where low-rise pants don't create the shelf effect is nearly impossible, which is why I generally recommend avoiding them altogether. Now let's discuss a style that seems innocent enough, but can be particularly problematic for women with shorter legs and apple shapes. Cropped pants with abrupt, harsh hemlines. I'm talking about pants that end mid-calf, or just below the knee with a straight, blunt cut. These can visually chop your legs in half, and make them appear even shorter than they are. When you have an apple shape, you typically carry most of your weight in your midsection, which means your legs are often one of your best assets. But cropped pants with harsh hemlines can completely negate this advantage. The abrupt cut creates a visual stop sign right in the middle of your leg line, interrupting the vertical flow that makes legs look longer and leaner. This is especially problematic when the cropped pants are combined with a fuller silhouette through the hip and thigh. You end up with a wide middle, pants that cut your legs in half, and an overall proportion that makes you look shorter and wider than you actually are. The cropped length also tends to emphasize whatever shoe you're wearing, and if you're not careful with your shoe choice, you can end up making your legs look even shorter. Let's talk about pleated pants, because this is where I see so much confusion. Pleats aren't automatically bad for apple shapes, but there are specific types of pleated pants that you should definitely avoid. I'm talking about pants with multiple deep pleats that start right at the waistband and fan out from there. These create additional bulk right at your midsection, which is exactly where you don't want extra volume. When pleats are deep and numerous, they add inches to your waistline before you even factor in your natural curves. Each pleat creates a fold of fabric that adds bulk, and when you have several pleats all originating from the waistband, they create a gathered effect that can make your hips and waist look significantly wider than they actually are. The problem is compounded when these heavily pleated pants are made from thick or stiff fabrics that don't drape well. Instead of the pleats lying flat and creating a smooth line, they stick out from your body, creating a tent-like effect that hides your waist entirely and makes your whole lower body look shapeless and wide. Here's another style that might surprise you. Wide leg pants that are too wide for your frame. I know wide leg pants are often recommended for apple shapes because they balance out a fuller midsection, but there's a point where they become too wide and actually make you look larger overall. When the leg opening is so wide that it overwhelms your frame, especially if you're petite or have a smaller bone structure, the pants can make you look like you're drowning in fabric. The key with wide leg pants is proportion. If the legs are disproportionately wide compared to your body frame, they can make you look shorter and heavier than you are. This is particularly true if the wide legs are combined with a high waistline that hits at the wrong spot on your torso. You end up with a look that's more costume than chic. Wide legs that are too wide also tend to create a pyramid effect, where your lower body looks significantly larger than your upper body. While this might seem like it would balance out an apple shape, it actually just creates a different kind of proportion problem. Instead of looking balanced, you look bottom-heavy, which is just trading one issue for another. Now let's discuss straight-leg pants that are too loose through the leg. This is a mistake I see constantly. Women with apple shapes often think that loose, straight-leg pants will hide their midsection, but what actually happens is they create a boxy rectangular silhouette that adds bulk everywhere. When straight-leg pants are too loose, they eliminate any shape definition you might have in your hips and thighs. Instead of creating a smooth line from waist to ankle, they create a wide, shapeless column that makes your entire lower body look larger. This is particularly problematic if you have shorter legs, because the loose, boxy shape can make your legs disappear entirely. The loose, straight leg also tends to create fabric bunching around the knee and ankle areas, which adds visual weight and creates unflattering lines. Instead of the clean, elongating line that a well-fitted straight leg can provide, you get a sloppy, unstructured look that does nothing for your figure. Let me tell you about a specific type of pant that I see constantly in stores, and it's designed in a way that almost guarantees it won't work for apple shapes. These are pants with elastic waistbands that sit at the natural waist, but then immediately flare out from there. They're often marketed as comfortable or easy wear pants, and while they might be comfortable, they're usually very unflattering. The problem with these pants is that they eliminate your waist entirely. The elastic waistband often creates a gathering effect that adds bulk right at your midsection, and then the immediate flare from the waist creates a bell or tent shape that hides any curves you might have. You end up looking like you're wearing a potato sack instead of flattering pants. These pants are particularly problematic because they often come in sizes that run large, encouraging women to size down for a better fit. But when you size down in a pant that's already designed to be loose and flowing, you often end up with an elastic waistband that's too tight and creates even more bulging and rolling over effects. Here's something that might surprise you about bootcut pants. While bootcut can be flattering for many body types, there's a specific type of bootcut that can be disastrous for apple shapes with shorter legs. I'm talking about bootcut pants with a dramatic flare that starts too high up on the leg. When the flare begins at the knee or even mid-thigh, it can create a trumpet or bell-bottom effect that overwhelms shorter legs and makes them look even shorter. The early flare also tends to emphasize the widest part of your hips and thighs, which can make your midsection look larger by comparison. A proper bootcut should have a relatively straight line through the hip and thigh, with just a slight flare beginning around the knee or lower calf. This creates a balanced silhouette that elongates the leg while providing enough room at the ankle to accommodate boots or heavier shoes. But when the flare is too dramatic or starts too high, it defeats the purpose and creates an unflattering, dated look. Now let's talk about something I call the proportion trap. These are pants that might look fine on their own, but create proportion problems when worn by apple-shaped women with shorter legs. One of the biggest culprits in this category is pants with large, bold patterns or horizontal stripes. When you have a fuller midsection, large patterns or wide horizontal stripes can make that area appear even larger. The eye is naturally drawn to patterns, and if those patterns are located right across your midsection, they're essentially creating a billboard that says, "Look at my tummy." This is particularly problematic with horizontal stripes, which have the optical effect of widening whatever area they cover. Bold patterns can also create visual chaos that makes it difficult to see your actual body shape. Instead of creating a streamlined, elegant silhouette, busy patterns can make you look larger and less put together. This is especially true if the pattern is scale inappropriate for your body size. Large patterns on smaller frames or tiny patterns on larger frames both create proportion issues that work against you. Let me share something about fabric choice that most women don't consider. The fabric of your pants can make the difference between flattering and disastrous, regardless of the style you choose. Fabrics that are too stiff or structured can create a boxy, unflattering shape, while fabrics that are too clingy can emphasize every bump and curve in unflattering ways. Stiff fabrics like heavy denim, canvas, or thick cotton twill tend to stand away from the body rather than draping over it. This can be particularly problematic for apple shapes because instead of the fabric following your natural curves and creating a smooth line, it creates a rigid shape that often makes you look larger than you are. These fabrics also tend to bunch and wrinkle in unflattering ways, creating visual texture where you want smoothness. On the other end of the spectrum, fabrics that are too thin or clingy can be equally problematic. Jersey knits, thin cotton blends, or stretchy synthetic fabrics can cling to every curve and create an unflattering, overly revealing silhouette. They also tend to show underwear lines, create static cling, and lose their shape quickly, leaving you looking sloppy rather than put together. Here's something I want you to try after watching this video. Go to your closet and divide your pants into two piles. The pants that make you feel confident and the pants that make you feel self-conscious. Now look closely at the pants in your confident pile. Notice the waistband style. Is it wide or narrow, firm or flexible? Where does it hit on your torso? Look at the leg silhouette. Is it fitted but not tight? Does it have just enough room to move comfortably without being baggy? Now examine the pants in your self-conscious pile. I'm willing to bet you'll start to see patterns. Maybe they all have narrow, tight waistbands. Maybe they're all too tight through the legs, or too loose and shapeless. Maybe they all hit at an unflattering length or have design elements that add bulk where you don't want it. This little exercise can be more valuable than any shopping trip because it helps you understand what actually works for your specific body shape and what doesn't. It takes the guesswork out of shopping and helps you develop a clearer vision of what to look for and what to avoid. Before we move into the next section, if this information has been helpful and you're starting to understand why certain pants haven't been working for you, I'd love for you to show some support by giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps our community grow and allows me to continue creating content that addresses the real style challenges we face as mature women. Now let me show you what to choose instead. Instead of those narrow waistband high-rise pants, look for pants with wider, more flexible waistbands that distribute pressure evenly across your midsection. The ideal waistband for an apple shape is usually between 2 and 4 inches wide and made from a slightly stretchy material that provides support without creating harsh lines. Instead of ultra-high-rise pants that come up to your rib cage, try mid-rise to moderately high-rise pants that hit just below your natural waist. This provides tummy support and coverage without creating that compressed, shortened torso effect. The key is finding that sweet spot where the waistband provides support and smoothing without overwhelming your proportions. Rather than super skinny pants that cling to every curve, opt for straight leg or slightly tapered pants with just enough ease through the hip and thigh for comfortable movement. These should skim your body without being tight or loose. The goal is a smooth, clean line that follows your natural shape without clinging or adding bulk. Instead of cropped pants with harsh hemlines, choose full-length pants or crops that end at a flattering point on your leg. The best crop lengths for shorter legs are usually just above the ankle bone or at the narrowest part of your lower leg. Avoid crops that end at the widest part of your calf, as these will make your legs look shorter and thicker. When it comes to pleated pants, if you want to try this style, look for pants with just 1 or 2 small pleats positioned slightly toward the side seams rather than centered at the front. These subtle pleats can add interesting detail without creating bulk at your midsection. Make sure the pleats lie flat and don't gap open when you move. For wide leg pants, choose a width that's proportional to your frame. The legs should be wide enough to create a balanced silhouette without being so wide that they overwhelm you. A good rule of thumb is that the leg opening should be no wider than the widest part of your shoulders when viewed from the front. Instead of loose, shapeless straight leg pants, look for straight legs that follow the line of your natural leg shape. They should be fitted through the hip and thigh without being tight, then fall straight to the ankle. This creates a clean, elongating line that's both flattering and comfortable. Rather than elastic waist pants that eliminate your waist, look for pants with structured waistbands that define your waist while providing comfort and flexibility. Some of the best options include pants with partial elastic in the back waistband only, or pants with adjustable waistbands that allow you to customize the fit. When it comes to bootcut pants, choose styles with a subtle flare that begins around the knee and gradually widens to accommodate shoes. The flare should be gentle, not dramatic, and should create a balanced line from hip to ankle. Avoid bootcuts with extreme flares or those that begin flaring too high up on the leg. For pattern and color choices, stick to smaller, more subtle patterns or solid colors that create a streamlined look. If you want to wear patterns, choose them in colors that aren't too contrasting and in scales that are appropriate for your body size. Vertical patterns or subtle textures can add interest without overwhelming your silhouette. When shopping for fabric, look for materials that have just enough structure to maintain their shape while still draping nicely over your curves. Some of the best options include pant knits, stretch wool blends, cotton blends with a small amount of spandex, or technical fabrics designed for comfort and movement. Here's something I want you to remember from the bottom of my heart. Your body is not the problem that needs to be fixed. The fashion industry has created standardized sizing and cuts that work for a narrow range of body types, and then convince the rest of us that we're the problem when their designs don't work for us. But you are not too big, too short, too curvy, or too anything. You simply need clothes that are designed to work with your beautiful, unique body. Every time you put on an outfit that makes you feel confident and comfortable, you're not just getting dressed. You're making a statement that says, I deserve to look good and feel good in my own skin. You're refusing to hide or apologize for taking up space in this world. You're celebrating the woman you are right now, in this moment, exactly as you are. I want you to start seeing shopping and getting dressed as acts of self-love rather than attempts to fix perceived flaws. When you understand what works for your body and why, shopping becomes easier, getting dressed becomes more enjoyable, and you start to develop a confidence that radiates from the inside out. Stop waiting for your body to change before you start dressing it with love and respect. Stop punishing yourself with uncomfortable clothes that don't fit properly just because you think you don't deserve better. Stop hiding behind shapeless, uncomfortable clothes that make you feel invisible. You deserve to feel beautiful, confident, and comfortable in your own skin. Right now, today. Your style should be a celebration of who you are, not a costume you wear to hide from the world. It should make you want to stand up straighter, smile more often, and engage more fully with life. When you find clothes that truly work for your body, they become tools of empowerment that help you show up as your most authentic, confident self. Remember, the goal isn't to look like someone else or to fit into someone else's idea of what you should look like. The goal is to feel like the best, most comfortable, most confident version of yourself. When you achieve that, everything else falls into place. So go into your closet with this new knowledge and start making choices that honor your body and make you feel amazing. Life is too short to spend it in pants that don't fit properly or make you feel self-conscious. You deserve to look in the mirror and love what you see. You deserve to feel confident and comfortable every single day. If this video has helped you understand your body better and given you the confidence to make better choices for yourself, please subscribe to EverWise Older Women. We're building a community of women who believe that style has no expiration date and that every woman deserves to feel beautiful at every age and every size. Your subscription helps us continue creating content that addresses the real style challenges we face and celebrates the incredible women we are. I can't wait to see you in the next video, where we'll continue this journey of discovering what makes you look and feel your absolute best.